You know? So what's coming to earth, man, is nothing but destruction. All right? The famine is just a little taste of what is to come. You know? Famine is just a small little taste of what is to come, man. This is oops. Chapter 9, chapter what? So that one. Going to save that one. And I'll go to 13. And this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right? So this wind, all right, is Yahweh Shai rolling in on a chariot. All right? In the midst of the sea, which the sea represents nations and peoples. All right? But also, the sea can be the skies. All right? This is Deuteronomy 33. Whoops. Deuteronomy 33 and 26. There is none like unto the power of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. All right? So Jeshurun represents Israel, because that word Yasharawan, all right, Yasharawan means upright, all right, means to be upright, you know. So it's the ideal way of Israel to be Yasharawan, you know, to be upright, to be righteous. Those are the plans for Israel, to be a righteous nation, all right, a nation of priests, a nation of prophets, you know. So it says, verse 27, the eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. All right? So like I said, it's only going to get worse, man, especially for you other nations, you know. It says, Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. All right. So going back to verse 26, it says, there is none like unto the God of Yasharawan, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. All right? So who rideth upon the heaven? It would have said dwell if it's talking about where he sits, his throne. But it said rideth upon the heaven for thy help. and his excellency in the sky. Which is what? Going to 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. All right, so the Most High parted the sky. All right, and then the chariot came down. And I beheld, and lo, the man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. All right, so the man waxed strong, being Yahawashi, when he comes back. All right, he waxed strong because he is strong. All right, with the thousands of heaven that are coming back. You know? So, who rideth upon the heaven? How they say? Who rideth upon the heaven and shows his excellency in the sky. All right? That's Yahweh Shem Yahushai coming back. You know? So it says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right? So you're going to be so afraid, man. You're going to be so afraid that some of you are actually going to die by way of heart attack. Whether you be a young man, all right, middle-aged man, or an old man. It doesn't matter. All right? There's going to be so many heart attacks going around. By the fear that's coming, man. You know? They say people have died in the past of heartbreak. You know? There was this movie where this man was married and he loved this Jake woman. He was a producer, and he couldn't have her, you know? So the whole movie, he was going back and forth with her, and at the end of the movie, he told her, you know what? We can't do this anymore. I'm gonna have to leave you. And he ended up selling his studio, which that studio was his whole life, man. That was his whole life. So he left two things that he loved, the only two things that he loved. And as he was driving away, he died of a heart attack. Why? Because of heartbreak. You know? It literally broke his heart, all right, that he had to leave that behind and go start a new life in a new profession. You know? So as he was driving away, he fainted, he died, and he crashed his car right across the street. You know? So when Yahweh Shem Yahushai comes back, you're already going to know what the prophets have been saying is right. It's true. What the Bible states is true. The wicked are going to die in their wickedness. It's true. So when all of that comes, your consciousness, you're going to convict yourself. You know? You're going to convict yourself, man. And you're going to know that there was a prophet among you. So it says, verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. All right? So as you see in the Old Testament, it talked about death by fire. In the Apocrypha, it talks about death by fire. All right? And in the New Testament, it talks about death by fire. This is 2 Peter's. Oops. 2 Peter's chapter 3. Second Peter's chapter 3, and let me start off at verse 3. 2 Peter's chapter 3 and verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts. All right, and I read it before. Every time there's been prophets, all right, every time the Most High sets up his prophets, all right, scoffers come in, make fun of them, make ridicule of them, scoff and mock, and then destruction comes, man. You know? And in Revelation 13, it tells you that, what was it? Revelation 13, it says, that the saints, let me just get it. We're gonna be in the streets. No, that's a different one. Let me see. Salakia. Revelations 13 and okay. Revelations 13 and 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. All right. So that 42 months is talking about the power that Esau Edom had, all right, when he reached his peak. 42 months, all right, 2.5 years, all right, which really translates to 230 years. Because from 1620, or what was it, 50, yeah. From 1620, all right, when the ships were coming this way to the Americas, that marked the beginning. All right? That actually marked the beginning of his rulership, man. So that shows you that the hand of the Most High, all right, was with Esau Edom, using them as a whipping stick to the Israelites. All right? So from 1620 all the way until 1969, 1970, when the prophets started coming out, that's what marked the beginning of the end. All right? Or the how should I put it? The last few what is it called? The last few verses of the chapter. Because the beginning actually started with Yahushai. You know? The beginning started with Yahushai. And then the last few verses of the chapter, all right, is actually when Abba Bivens came up, which is Elijah in the reincarnation. All right. So that's what marked the beginning of the very last few hours of the last day. You know. So we're at the very end, man. You know, we're in the final steps. You see? Shit. So 1970 was what marked the beginning, you know. That's when the prophets started coming out. So you've been mocking us since then. Since 1970 up until now, 2020. You know? 50 years, man. 50 years you've been making fun of the prophets. You know? The Most High is not going to let it stand. So jumping back to 2nd Esdras 13. And, oh, Salakia. I was actually holding Peter's. 2nd Peter's. James, 2nd Peter's. Chapter 3 and verse 4. And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. All right, so people are saying, man, since Abba Bivens, all right, everything is just seemingly has been progressing. More technology has come out. The world keeps going. That's in the eyes of the blind, you know? They don't see really what's going on. It says, for this, they willingly, all right, for this, they willingly are ignorant of that the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of water, and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. You see? So how many people listened to Noah? When Noah said there's going to be water coming down from heaven and it's going to cause a flood, all right? And you also have streams under earth of water, rivers of water under earth, and they all sprung up. You see? And what did people say? You're crazy, Noah. You're crazy. And how many souls were saved out of the millions and billions of people that lived in that time? How many souls were saved? Half? A quarter? Or 8? You know? Only 8 souls out of the millions of people that lived in that time, possibly even billions, most likely billions, all right? Only 8 souls were saved. You see? And nowadays, what's coming up, all right, it's gonna be death by fire, man. You see? That same word that destroyed the world long time ago, that same word already said it's going to destroy this current world with fire. And by world, I mean establishment, system, rulership, kingdom. You see? So it says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with the Most High is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Most High is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. So how do you count slack? You're late by time. That's not how the Most High rolls. He does it by establishing every single thing one by one. Setting up prophets, setting up men, bringing famine, viruses, people freaking out, martial law, implementation of the RFID chip. And then when the fullness of the Gentiles has come in, all right, and the fullness of the wickedness of the Gentiles has come in, what happens next? When everybody's sealed, that has to be sealed, destruction, all right, death, mourning. Like I read in the book of Amos, it's only going to get worse. You see? What is the day of the Lord unto you? Don't you know it's nothing but darkness and famine and death and destruction? It says, but is long suffering to us ward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Talking about the elect, the Israelites. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night. All right, so not even if we tell you this, you're still not going to believe. And you're going to be unexpected. All right? It's going to be unexpected. It says, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ye ought to be in holy conversation and godliness. You see? So knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. You know? So that's how you see what manner of man you should be. You know? What manner of Israelite you should be. It says, Ezra 13 and verse verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. All right, and that's also going to be the UFOs, all right, which you call UFOs are actually the chariots of Israel, all right? Those chariots are going to be shooting out laser beams, you know? Shooting out laser beams, man. Whew. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Why do you think Donald Trump has set up the Space Force? You know? He's trying to find the name for something cool for the Space Force. Why? Because he's trying to combat Yahweh Shai when he comes back. These other nations are ready. They're trying to get ready. All right? They feel ready. But that's because the Most High set them up to be ready, to feel ready. But when he comes back, they're not going to be ready. It says, verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. All right? So what was that great mountain? That's the chariot that I read in Revelations 21. He's going to go into the chariot, which is the chariot of Israel. See? But I would have seen the region or place whereof the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight. All right? So even if you're scared out of your mind, the Most High is going to force you to fight. You know? So the Most High has always driven out the enemy little by little, over a period of time. All right? Now you have military choppers coming in, you know? Hey, it's a beautiful time, man. It's a beautiful time, you know? Before I came into this truth, what I used to wish was for me to be able to sup with Yahweh Shai, to learn from the apostles, you know? Because I couldn't understand the book. So what I wanted was understanding, correction, you know? That's what I wanted for a long time, man. And I would wish that I would just wake up and I would be in that time period and I would be able to learn from them, from the apostles, from the elders, and understand what this little book is saying. And the water to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right? Because he set up Abba Bivens. He set up King Masha. He set up Elder Tahar, Elder Aramlab, Elder Gabar, Elder Rakah, and to all the elders throughout the world. He set them all up. He brought the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding. And through one of his soldiers, through one of his hard-working men, he brought this truth to me, you know? And now I don't have to go back in time, because the truth is here now, man. And it's being proclaimed. It's being taught through the four winds of the earth, through the four corners of the earth. The vibrations are being pushed out. And now all that's left is for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to execute his word, man. For the RFID chip to be implemented. All right? For the going after of the saints, for destruction, you know? The persecution, for the famine of the word. And for destruction. That's all that's left. We're at the very end. The prophets have been awake. So let me end it with this one. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13. And verse 11, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. So I hope that was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Barakatham. Shalom.